On a chilly autumn evening, October 15, 2024, in Wausau, Wisconsin, an event of note occurred in a quiet parking lot. The cool breeze swept through, and everything seemed peaceful, until an unexpected conflict erupted between 23-year-old Matthew and 20-year-old Anna. What began as a personal disagreement quickly attracted the attention of the police and bystanders. No one could have predicted that an ordinary evening would mark the beginning of a series of unbelievable events, from justifications to tense confrontations, leading to an unforeseen outcome. It was supposed to be like any other evening in Wausau, peaceful fall night, with the crisp air settling in as people wrapped up their day. For many, it was a time to unwind with a warm drink and enjoy the quiet surroundings. But for Matthew and Anna, their night took a dramatic turn in the most unlikely of places, a parking lot. What started as an ordinary evening quickly spiraled into chaos, shattering the calm and introducing a level of drama no one expected. As moonlight bathed the nearly empty parking lot, witnesses were stunned by the scene unfolding before them. Reports state that Matthew was seen shouting at Anna, his face twisted with anger. The verbal exchange quickly escalated into a physical confrontation. Matthew allegedly yanked Anna's hair with such force it was hard to believe this was the same peaceful town known for its community fairs. He didn't stop there. In a shocking show of aggression, he reportedly threw several punches, adding an unexpected layer of violence to what could have been just another argument. The scene was made even more unsettling by Anna's complicated past. This wasn't just a simple disagreement between two young adults. Anna, with a criminal record as long as a grocery list, had numerous legal run-ins, including an active felony case from the previous year. This wasn't her first brush with the law, and her behavior that night raised eyebrows even among seasoned law enforcement. For those paying attention, it seemed like a scene ripped from a real-life soap opera, except with fewer scripted resolutions and a lot more chaos. In a town where life usually moves slowly, where neighbors knew each other by name, and children played in the streets until dusk, this confrontation felt like an outlier. Yet, it served as a stark reminder that even the quietest places can hide the most unexpected and unsettling dramas. Enter the police. Within moments, their squad cars flashing blue lights illuminated the dark parking lot, signaling their swift arrival. As expected, the officers acted quickly, expertly cutting off the couple's car before it could drive away, trapping them in a scene that felt like something from a tense crime drama. One might think, with so many witnesses watching, and the officers closing in, that Matthew and Anna would reconsider their stories. But to everyone's disbelief, both deny any wrongdoing. They seemed unfazed, as though the laws of reality didn't apply to them. According to them, nothing had happened. Their relationship was, in their eyes, smooth and peaceful, a simple misunderstanding fueled by difference in perspective. Anna quickly deflected any responsibility, claiming she was intoxicated, as though alcohol could erase her actions. After all, in her mind, no one could be blamed for pulling their own hair or escalating a fight when a few drinks were involved, right? Her defense was a textbook excuse. "I was drunk," she said, as if that single statement could absolve her. Meanwhile, Matthew, instead of showing remorse, acted like a defensive and irritable child, one whose favorite toy had just been taken away. He refused to acknowledge any fault, projecting frustration as though he had been wronged, even though he was the one at fault. He wasn't apologetic, he was more concerned about preserving his pride than taking responsibility for the chaos. The contrast between Anna's half-hearted excuses and Matthew's barely concealed anger painted a picture of two people skilled in denial, unwilling to acknowledge the truth of the situation despite the growing evidence. It was as though reality was a foreign concept, far removed from their self-perception, and the officer's task became not just unraveling the lies, but dealing with two individuals intent on rewriting the narrative. As the interrogation continued, the tension was palpable. What started as a simple inquiry quickly escalated into a full-blown spectacle. Matthew, with all the charm of a firecracker in a dry forest, proved as cooperative as a cat in a bath. Every word from him seemed to ignite the situation further. And the more the officers tried to get to the truth, the more Matthew dug in his heels, refusing to budge from his defensive position. His irritation was evident, as if his personal discomfort was the real issue, not the incident itself. Meanwhile, Anna, in a classic display of misdirected control, took full responsibility for the altercation. Why? To shield Matthew from any consequences. Her sudden assumption of guilt seemed less like a genuine confession and more like a calculated move to shift the focus onto her and away from him. It was an age-old strategy: control the narrative when you can't control the situation. By presenting herself as the responsible one, Anna deflected scrutiny from Matthew, wrapping herself in a false sense of accountability. The climax of the evening came with a masterful move by Anna, who, perhaps wanting to appear cool, slammed the car door into a parked vehicle. This was certainly not an act one would expect from someone supposedly just drunk and confused. In fact, this action caused visible damage to the other vehicle, prompting immediate police intervention and Anna's temporary detainment. At this point, one might have expected Anna to regain her composure, but instead, she made things worse by resisting arrest. With the stubbornness of a bull in a china shop, Anna became the perfect example of recklessness and lack of restraint, kicking, screaming, and, of course, escaping from her handcuffs like a magician. If one didn't see it with their own eyes, they wouldn't believe a drunk woman could so easily escape the police's grip. It was as if Houdini himself would have been impressed by the performance. As the officers scrambled to control the situation, Anna continued to cause chaos, leaving everyone around her shocked and amused by her defiance. But the spectacle didn't stop there. Anna, still angry and uncooperative, became a monster hard to control like an octopus on a sugar high. She wriggled and twisted, making it difficult for the officers to regain control. Her actions weren't just defiance, they caused minor injuries to one officer trying to stabilize the situation. While the officers maintained their professionalism and patience, Anna continued to scream, accusing them of treating her unfairly. She denied all wrongdoing and insisted she was the victim, as if she were auditioning for an emotional role, though no one knew what award she expected to win. Was she hoping for sympathy from the police? To the witnesses and officers, it was nothing but a chaotic, never-ending performance. The investigation continued, and as usual, witness testimonies were confirmed. Indeed, Matthew had pulled Anna's hair, and Anna had screamed in panic and pain. Yet, did Anna admit this? Of course not. She firmly defended her position, claiming, "There's no abuse here, move along," and categorically deny any accusations. Witnesses were astounded by Anna's refusal to take responsibility. Despite clear evidence and official confirmation, Anna stuck to her story, as though she were in a play she had written herself. Meanwhile, Matthew, confirmed to be violent, continued to play the innocent one, leaving everyone around him in disbelief about the truth behind their denials. The way Anna denies everything is not just a simple attempt to escape punishment, but also reflects an attitude of arrogance and a blatant disregard for the truth. She is like an actress on a stage, repeating the same script over and over again, despite the fact that everything is already crystal clear. And while witness testimonies, coupled with undeniable evidence, seem to push the truth into the light, Anna stubbornly sticks to her story, as if the world is merely a place for her to play a game of deceit. And then, as expected, what was bound to happen, happened. When the officers decided it was time to take Anna into custody, she certainly wasn't going to make things easy. Instead of quietly complying, Anna turned the arrest into a chaotic spectacle. She kicked and screamed the entire way to the police car, transforming the whole event into an endless comedy. This wasn't a rare occurrence, it was part of a series of actions that were hardly surprising. Naturally, her behavior led to a slew of charges. It's almost impossible to count them. From felony assault, threatening a police officer, bail jumping, resisting arrest, to disorderly conduct, these charges were nothing new to Anna. In fact, they were just the seasoning added to another of her typical evenings, and all of them were repeat offenses, so why would it be any different? Anna's story resembles an endless farce, where she always finds a way to complicate and twist things, despite the situation probably being painfully obvious. Every step she took during the arrest could be seen as a deliberate act of resistance, as if she were fighting the world rather than simply facing reality. The officers, no doubt, were no strangers to this kind of reaction from her, and surely weren't shocked to see Anna once again repeat her old behaviors. She wasn't just a criminal. She was a performer, constantly replaying the same script, unconcerned with the consequences, simply enjoying the attention that her actions brought. The way Anna continued to resist every effort of law enforcement, from her shouting to her angry kicks, painted a complete picture of someone who had no remorse, not even a willingness to accept responsibility. This made resolving the situation more complicated, not only because of her defiance, but also due to her arrogant and "I don't care" attitude toward the law. Ultimately, Matthew and Anna's nice little evening turned into an absolute nightmare. At first glance, it seemed like just a few minutes before, they were two people enjoying a peaceful night. However, in the blink of an eye, everything changed completely, as chaos and uncontrollability fell upon them. But don't worry, whether they realize it or not, this will surely not be the last time they experience such a terrifying transition. There's no need to worry about them forgetting what happened, at least not until their next encounter with the law. Things escalated so quickly, from a peaceful evening to a violent incident that pulled both of them into a whirlwind of legal troubles. Matthew and Anna, perhaps just looking for a little fun in life, found themselves caught in a dangerous game with justice. And while the situation became tense, full of contradictions and irony, they became the main characters in a story that can't be ignored, a story of a terrifying transition from beauty to evil. Interestingly, despite the situation possibly having reached the peak of chaos, both Matthew and Anna will likely find it hard to escape the impacts of that evening. The memories of the nightmare they just went through will surely not fade easily from their minds. Yet, with a proven legal history and continuous clashes with the law, no one can predict when the next nightmare will come. Perhaps they will have to wait for their next meeting with law enforcement to realize that these nightmares aren't an unexpected event, but part of their lives, a life filled with unpredictable situations where transitions can happen at any moment. In the end, Matthew and Anna's story serves as a clear example of how seemingly harmless actions can quickly escalate into irreversible disasters. An evening can begin with calmness, but a misunderstanding, a fit of anger, or a moment of impulse can turn everything upside down, creating chaos and devastation. Both characters in this story not only face the consequences of their actions, but must also live with the poor decisions they made in the past. The lesson here is clear. Sometimes, patience, emotional control, and taking responsibility for one's actions are crucial factors in avoiding dangerous and unforeseen situations. Impulsive actions, no matter how small, can lead to serious consequences not only for oneself, but also for those around. In this world, where every step can change the course of events, keeping a cool head and respecting boundaries is something we all need to remember. And perhaps, for Matthew and Anna, this terrifying transition won't be the last time they face the law. But hopefully, through such experiences, they will realize that every decision, no matter how small, can lead to a big change, and sometimes that change is the beginning of a nightmare.